Welcome to Suman iTTV, India's first and only exclusive IT channel truly dedicated to students, employees, and software professionals, where you can learn, unlearn new things, upgrade your skill set, educate, and empower yourself in IT enabled services. వెల్కమ్ టు సుమన్ ఐటీటీవీ టెక్ టాక్స్ హెచ్ఆర్ సిరీస్. ఈ హెచ్ఆర్ సిరీస్లో భాగంగా మనం ఈరోజు మిషెల్ అండ్ మార్టిన్ ఇండియా ప్రైవేట్ లిమిటెడ్ ఫౌండర్ వివేక్తో ఉన్నాం. వివేక్ని అడిగి అసలు హెచ్ఆర్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఇందులో ఎన్ని రోల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అసలు హెచ్ఆర్ రౌండ్ని ఎలా ఫేస్ చేయాలి, ఇవన్నీ అడిగి మనం తెలుసుకుందాం. హలో వివేక్, హౌ ఆర్ యు?
I'm doing good, Andy. Thank you very much for inviting me.
సో ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ హెచ్ఆర్ అంటే ఏంటి?
It's basically a connect between the corporates and the individuals who aspire to make a career. I think they are the bridge. They are the bridge for any organization.
సో బిఫోర్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ టు ద సబ్జెక్ట్, అసలు మిషెల్ అండ్ మార్టిన్ కంపెనీ ఏంటి, ఇదేం చేస్తుంది?
Mitchell Martin is a staffing company.
ఓకే.
So we provide staffing solutions to our clients who do not have the appetite or the energy or time to invest in hiring. So we make life simpler for them by taking away the burden of hiring. So we are a specialized consulting agency who have seasoned recruiters who help identify the talent based on whatever technology or whatever skills a client needs, and we present them. It's a readily available candidate for their projects.
So you're helping the company by recruiting the right people to the company.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right. That's
okay.
exactly right.
So in which cities, how many cities you are having Michel and Martin India Private Limited?
Okay, so Mitchell Martin is basically a 40-year-old company. We've been in the business for more than 40 years. We're headquartered in New York, and we have 8 offices across United States. We basically operate from 8 different cities in the United States. And then in 2014, we incorporated in India. We operate from Hyderabad, but we do have ability to work pan-India. And then after India, we incorporated ourselves in Philippines, Manila. So today we are a tri-nation company having more than 10 offices, and we have close to 1,600 consultants on billing and more than 200 employees internally working for us. We work across all domains, including healthcare, IT, telecom, non-tech as well. And we support more than 150 clients today. Majorly, largely, it's all banking and financial clients, Cities, Bank of America's, JP Morgan's, Morgan Stanley's. So these are all been clients that we have been serving from past 25, 30 years. In India, it's been only about 18 months that we have started supporting some domestic clients here. There are a couple of media companies that we are working and recruiting for, and there are some tech companies that we are doing. So we wish to make the same impact in India that we have been having in the United States over the years.
సో ఎవరైనా ఇప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్స్ కనుక ఒకవేళ ఈ హెచ్ఆర్ దీనిలోకి రావాలి అని అంటే అసలు వాళ్ళకి మీరు ఇచ్చే ఏం చూస్తారు అసలు ఆ పిల్లలు? ఇప్పుడు ఫ్రెష్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్సే చూడండి, ఫస్ట్ వాళ్ళకి భయమే, ఎనీ రౌండ్ హెచ్ఆర్ రౌండ్ అంటే ఇంకా భయమే. సో వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ సజెషన్ యూ వాంట్ టు గివ్, అండ్ హెచ్ఆర్ అసలు ఏం చూస్తారు?
Okay, see, one needs to be very clear, Andy. Like technology, very early in the graduation time, engineering chestinappudu, students are asked to choose a specialization where you want to go on the CE side or the electronic side or the mechanical side. So when they choose that, they try to stick onto the path. Because why do they choose that? Is they believe that is their USP. Naalo instinctive ga idi naaku undi, నాకు ఇది చాలా నాలెడ్జ్ ఉంది, నేను ఈజీగా ఇందులో ఐ కెన్ యాక్చువల్లీ మేక్ మై ఇన్రోడ్స్ అనేది. సో హెచ్ఆర్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో సిమిలర్ టు ఇట్. సో ఫర్ దిస్ you can look for candidates, intermediate like the MECs. It's all the non-tech, people who do not like chemistries, maths, mathematics, people who choose civics, people who choose your commerce, who do BCom, those
History,
kind of people.
all these
Yeah, basically those kind of people. What kind of jobs are the best for them is, if you have these days, because of the competitiveness, if you have an MBA to add to your degree, it's definitely a huge advantage to you. Okay. So when you do your MBA, again, there's certain specializations that you're supposed to choose, right? Whether you have the appetite for finance, you are good with numbers, whether you are good with selling something, convincing people, you choose marketing, whether you are good at pleasing people and maintaining that relationship, that's a HR USP, right? So that's what we see is what kind of specialization somebody comes from. We ideally looking for somebody being a HR with an MBA. Sorry, MBA with a HR specialization. So once we identify them, and then for them the ocean is huge, because HR lone chala sub categories unnayandi. Recruitment is one part of specialization. And then ఆ రిక్రూట్మెంట్లో కూడా యూ హ్యావ్ క్యాంపస్ హైరింగ్ అనేది ఇంకొక స్పెషలైజేషన్. దెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టెక్ హైరింగ్స్ అని ఉంటుంది, దెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ డెస్క్ హైరింగ్స్ అని ఉంటుంది, ఇంటర్వ్యూ ప్రాసెస్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేసే వాళ్ళు దే ఆర్ వెరీ స్పెషలైజ్డ్ ఇన్ హౌ దే నెగోషియేట్ అండ్ థింగ్స్ లైక్ దట్. This is one part of it. The second part of it, you have onboarding. So all the candidates are selected, and then there's cumbersome onboarding process. That is also a specialized part of HR, wherein what documents to collect, how do you file, creating inventories for them, like making in logins for them. So ivanni basically it's little bit of administrative related HR work. So this is all the part of HR only. And then you talk about client delivery. This all comes at a later stage when you are successful at certain places. And then this core HR. Core HR is nothing but కంపెనీలో ఏ పాలసీస్ పెట్టాలి, లీవ్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఎట్లా ఉండాలి, మన టర్మ్స్ అండ్ కండిషన్స్, లైక్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద డూస్ అండ్ డోంట్స్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆర్గనైజేషన్. సో ఇట్స్ బేసికలీ ఇట్స్ అ మిక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దోస్ థింగ్స్. So when we hire people, when we interview people, we try to know where their USP is, whether it is recruiting, whether it is the core HR side. So our based మీద మన need ఉన్నప్పుడు we try to educate them. So being a staffing company, HR company, when we meet with lot of students who have no experience, no idea, we try to put little sense and little education in them, saying that, hey, I think you're good at this, maybe you're looking at the wrong job, maybe try looking for jobs in this stream, you would be maybe you'll be successful, kind of a thing. So I think one big weapon or arsenal, if you say, for somebody to be a good HR is to have good communication skill.
Okay.
Communication anedi, again, you don't need an accent, you don't need to use flamboyant vocabulary, you just need to put right words and frame a proper sentence. That's it. Most of them have that in them, because that's how they become MBAs, right? They read English books, they study in English medium. It's just that the nervousness gets the better out of them and they have a mental block.
ఓకే. అండ్ ఒకవేళ టెకీస్ కనుక రావాలి అని అనుకుంటే HR సైడ్, వాళ్ళకి ఎలాంటి స్కిల్స్ ఉండాలి, ఎలా డెవలప్ చేసుకోవచ్చు?
Techies అంటే this is very funny question. The reason why I say funny is most of the and I don't want to blame parents, but most of the engineering students who come in for recruiting roles here, when I ask them, a simple question is, why engineering and why HR? They say that my dad had me do engineering, my mom had me do engineering, అంటే my brother is an engineer, నేను కూడా ఇంజనీర్ అవ్వాలని చెప్పేసి చదివిపించారు. కాకపోతే now I realize that engineering is not my cup of tea, I don't want to be glued to a desk అని చెప్పేసాను. So those kind of people, yes, there's still scope. Smarter people after engineering, they're adding another feather to their hat by doing MBAs, right? So the advantage that they have is in the subject knowledge ఎంత ఉంది అంటే, it's basic. If you ask a commerce student what is coding, he will not have any fundamental knowledge of what coding is, right? What programming is. You don't need to do it, but you just have a ఒక డెఫినేషన్ కానీ ఐడియా అనే ఉంటుంది. సో రిక్రూట్మెంట్లో ఎలా అంటే, టెక్ జాబ్స్ వస్తే యూ ఆర్ ఈవెన్చువలీ గోయింగ్ టు హైర్ or recruit a Java guy or a SAP guy or a database guy. So when you do recruiting, this will definitely help you. So there is definitely a added advantage or edge for an engineering student or a tech background student to come into a HR field as well.
ఇప్పుడు కొత్త టెక్నాలజీస్ వస్తూ ఉన్నాయి కదా, సో ఇప్పుడు ఆ కొత్త టెక్నాలజీస్ హెచ్ఆర్కి కూడా తెలిసి ఉండాలా, తెలిసి ఉండకపోతే ఏమవుతుంది? ఒకవేళ నేర్చుకుంటే వాట్స్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యాపెన్ టు దేర్ ఫ్యూచర్?
సో టెక్నాలజీ అనేది బేసిక్గా హెచ్ఆర్కి ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది అంటే, బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ది క్లయింట్ జాబ్స్. సో వీ హ్యావ్ సో మెనీ క్లయింట్స్ దట్ వీ వర్క్ విత్. Every client evolves over a period of time based on the kind of projects they back. So today, for example, I would say, they need a Java Python developer, right? Tomorrow, after 6 months, 12 months, the client might actually pick another project and say, Hadoop is a new technology which has come in, which is even more advanced. We need somebody who has this kind of knowledge or experience, right? So first time manam avanni chustunnappudu, we as recruiters also try to learn the basics of it. What is it? Like, how is it different to Python? So basic, you don't need to be an expert of understanding that. You just have to understand what your client is looking for. So based on the job description, it's basically, you are given certain skills to look at. and we identify that on resumes, and then we ask some questions. There are some questions which are framed, directed towards understanding their knowledge and experience. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to constantly be on the lookout of what's coming into the market and things like that, but you always have to be reactive to what you're seeing. I think if that's done, I think HR recruiter still can be very successful.
సో ఇప్పుడు ఇప్పుడే మాట్లాడుకున్నాం కదా, ఈ న్యూ టెక్నాలజీస్ ఉంటేనే కొత్తగా జాబ్స్ ఉంటాయి, లేకపోతే లేదు, అదొక భయం
Right.
క్రియేట్ అయ్యి ఉంది కదా.
Right.
సో అలాంటిదే సేమ్ హెచ్ఆర్ రోల్స్ కూడా ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయా అలాగా, లేకపోతే వాళ్ళకేమంతా ఇదేం లేదా?
లేదండి. అంటే హెచ్ఆర్ రోల్స్లో అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎవ్రీ డొమైన్ ఆర్ ఎవ్రీ ఇండస్ట్రీ ఆర్ ఎవ్రీ ఫీల్డ్ గోస్ టు ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్, right? So let me give a better context of how the HR has actually evolved. If you remember, back like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, మనం జాబ్ కావాలి అంటే జాబ్ బోర్డ్స్ వచ్చే ముందు కన్సల్టింగ్ ఏజెన్సీస్ ఉండే. సో బీపీఓ జాబ్స్ కైనా కానీ, టెక్ జాబ్స్ కైనా కానీ, ఆల్ వాట్ యూ డూ ఇస్ టేక్ అన్ అప్లికేషన్ ఫార్మ్ అలాంగ్ విత్ ద రెజ్యూమే అండ్ go submit, and those consultancies had relationship with certain companies. I think now there are hardly any consultancies that you can walk into and say, dude, help me with a job.
Yeah.
Right? So that's gone. What has happened is job boards have taken over, right? And then what has happened is, now you have LinkedIn has become a very, very formidable tool globally, not just in India. So it's a platform which is transparent, which shows your history. It is even more sophisticated than your resume. So today, if you want to get hired, the first thing a company looks at is, does this candidate has a LinkedIn profile or no? So that itself qualifies for the genuinity of it. So every domain goes to a transformation. And on today, again, talking about job boards, when job boards came in, Naukris and your Monsters and all of those things, even they're still existing, but they're not as crazy as it used to be, because companies have started investing in databases or application tracking system. We call that as ATS, wherein a large organization or a mid-sized organization, any candidate who comes in, ఆ రెజ్యూమే, ఆ క్యాండిడేట్ డీటెయిల్స్ సిస్టంలో పెట్టుకుంటున్నాం. ఎందుకంటే ఇవాళ కాకపోయినా ఒక 6 నెలల తర్వాత అయినా, సంవత్సరం తర్వాత అయినా, హీ మైట్ బి లుకింగ్ ఫర్ అ జాబ్, రైట్? సో వెన్ వీ లుక్ ఫర్ అ పర్టిక్యులర్ క్యాండిడేట్ ఇన్ అ పర్టిక్యులర్ లొకేషన్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ఎ స్కిల్, దోస్ రెజ్యూమేస్ పాప్ అప్ అండ్ వీ అగైన్ మేక్ అ కనెక్ట్. అండ్ ATS ఇస్ సంథింగ్ దట్ మీరు లాస్ట్ ఎప్పుడు కాంటాక్ట్ అయినారో, వాట్ వాజ్ ద కాన్వర్జేషన్ అనేది రిక్రూటర్ నోట్స్ వదిలితే, వీ కెన్ ఆల్వేస్ రీకనెక్ట్ విత్ దెమ్ and say, hey, we spoke like about a year ago. So that's the evolution. The people, the ATS and application is like your LinkedIn and your social media platform, where you need little training how to use the tool, but this is the evolution which is going on in the HR side as well.
సో అసలు హెచ్ఆర్ థింకింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ హైరింగ్ అప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంటుంది?
We basically want to find the right candidate for the client, rather than putting it the other way around, finding the right job for the candidate. So primary thing is, we need, because it's a client need. A client నాకు ఇది కావాలి అంటేనే, then we go out in the market and say, okay, I am looking out for this అని. So it's not like the candidate needs this job and I'm going back to the basically yes. So that's the reason why I said HR is basically a bridge. It's basically a wall which protects or connects. It does not protect, but it connects the inbound people and the outbound people.
సో క్యాంపస్ రిక్రూట్మెంట్లో హెచ్ఆర్స్ చూసేదేంటి? ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళు స్టూడెంట్సే కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు హెచ్ఆర్కి కూడా తెలుసు వాళ్ళు స్టూడెంట్స్ అని, బట్ స్టిల్ కొంతమందికి రాదు ఈ రిక్రూట్మెంట్లో. కొంతమంది పిల్లలు దే విల్ గెట్ ద రిక్రూట్మెంట్. సో what they are looking especially?
The first and foremost is clarity of thought. Example, might be they are doing MBA. Why MBA అని అడిగినప్పుడు, they should be able to have some foresight and thought. That why are they doing MBA? What is the purpose? What after MBA? So that's one thing we look at is clarity of thought. The second thing is that how confident are they able to carry themselves. The confidence అనేది, nervousness అనేది అందరిలో ఉంటుంది. Everybody at any stage, whether it is PM or the president of a nation or anybody. So we have to get habituated to overcoming those nervousness, put those energies in place. So if somebody cannot do that, they will always keep struggling to find a job. You might be very talented on papers, because I can say, and I can give certain examples. In colleges చదువుకున్నప్పుడు స్కూల్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు there were all these first rank friends that I had consistently all through my school life. I used to get shunted by my parents saying that look at him, he's always first in the class and things like that. Now, not to blame anybody, but they were very bookish. They were very bookish. Once they stepped into the outside world, I think they're still working as a senior developer or a junior developer. The reason why they fail to do that is because they're so glued to bookish knowledge, they forget interacting with people, they forget connecting with people,
Okay.
relationship with people.
Got it.
So these are some of the things that we actually look at. I think academic percentage, yes, there are certain companies which is very particular about certain grades and percentages, but I think larger portion of people who are working in corporates are all average and just about above average people, right? Those people are very, very successful in wherever you see. I think if you leave alone the IIMs, right, who are sitting in a bigger seat, but majority of the jobs are all senior level people, are all people have come from colleges which have got now mediocre percentages. The reason why they have been successful is they're not bookish. They're not very bookish. So this is something which parents also have to understand. I think now the trend is slightly changing, where parents are able to accept, saying that okay, it's okay for my son to not be a merit student or a gold medalist. He can still survive.
So, did you observe anything in the colleges, how they need to train the students, or is there any major difference?
I think the practical aspect of the college syllabus should still be elevated, and I think there are some colleges which is doing a good job. I think sending them out, based on project works, interns. I think this unfortunately happens only towards the later towards the end of their career, but I think it should be part of the curriculum, like how they have semester exams. They have to actually go out, allow them to do some interns 4 times a year, not just once a year or twice a year. I think if only that will expose them to a real time world. Else is still very glued to bookish. So I think that change is still due for from my perspective. Maybe there are some colleges which is doing that very smartly, but my perspective is I think it should be more, at least post graduation వచ్చినప్పుడు subject తక్కువ practicality ఎక్కువ ఉండాలి. That's how allow them to get into seminars. Not seminars anangane top 5 top 4 students, and you have to actually push every student should be given that platform to kind of really present himself, express himself. It might be nothing, but at least it will build confidence in them and get that fear out. I think that's somewhere which is still lacking, I believe.
So Vivek, you're saying communication skills as well as some technical skills, and they need to upgrade their skills also, ఇవన్నీ అంటున్నారు కదా. ఇప్పుడు HR రౌండ్ వచ్చేంత వరకు, లేదంటే ఇంటర్వ్యూకి వచ్చే వరకు, సో ఈ స్కిల్స్ అన్నిట్లో మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ ఏంటి? నాలెడ్జ్, స్కిల్స్, కమ్యూనికేషన్, వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్?
I think అన్నీ ఉంటేనే జాబ్ వస్తుంది. అన్నీ ఉంటే నాలెడ్జ్ ఉండాలి, కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఒక్కటి ఉంటే సరిపోదు. కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఉండాలి, నాలెడ్జ్. అదే బేసికలీ యూ నీడ్ టు నో how to present yourself, right? See, nobody looks for a 100% match. ఇప్పుడు if it's as simple as looking for a technical guy with say some project management experience or some database experience, there'll be tons and tons of students who have that, but who gets qualified is how they can present themselves. How do they feel they would be apt to this job? What value they can bring in? That's what the company actually looks at. Like what my commitment level would be, what can I do. When you ask questions, ఇప్పుడు freshers ki technology మీద ఎన్ని questions అడుగుతారండి? So most part is he open to learn? Is he going to be a cultural fit? So presentation ante it's just not the vocabulary they use, it's the attire also they come in.
Okay.
Right? So everything, most of the times, when we sometimes run in walk-ins where you have a lot of people coming in, I see like certain portion of people coming in, in their ripped jeans, in a t-shirt, some come in chinos, some come in sneakers, some come in this Crocs. So like you want a corporate job, right? And this is how you show yourself. You might be a merit student on paper, but if you don't know how to present yourself, corporates would not want to hire those. సో దిస్ షోస్ బికాజ్ రేపు పొద్దున మనం ఏదైనా ఎంత మంచి ప్రోడక్ట్ ఉన్నా కానీ దాన్ని ఒక క్లయింట్కి ప్రజెంట్ చేయాలి మనం. అది పోవాలి. సో ఆ ప్రజెంటేషన్ స్కిల్స్ అనేది వెన్ యూ కెనాట్ portray yourself properly, now what else can be portrayed better. So these are all, అందుకనే పాతకాలంలో అంతే డ్రెస్ కోడ్స్ రాసేది, ఇట్స్ బిజినెస్ క్యాజువల్ అని చెప్పేసి ఇది అని. సో దీస్ డేస్ ఇన్ కార్పొరేట్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ జీన్స్ అండ్ ఫార్మల్ షర్ట్స్ ఇస్ యాక్సెప్టబుల్, దట్స్ ఫైన్. I mean, you don't put on a leather shoe, you put on a shoe which at least goes along with your, so these are things which really matters. It's like how much is he thinking, how much is he preparing himself for an interview, or is it like జాబ్ వస్తే నాకు జీతం వస్తుంది అని, జాబ్ వస్తే జీతం వచ్చే వాళ్ళని హైర్ చేయరు.
ఓకే, సో జీతం అని మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నాం కదా, సో సాలరీ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఫర్ ది ఎనీ ఇంటర్వ్యూ, ఎనీ హౌ ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే వాళ్ళు దాని గురించే చూస్తారు కాబట్టి. సో ఫ్రెషర్స్కి ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఐటీ కంపెనీస్లో, ఎస్పెషల్లీ కార్పొరేట్ కంపెనీస్లో ఎక్కడి నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది, వాళ్ళు ఎంత వరకు వాళ్ళ ఫ్యూచర్లో వెళ్ళొచ్చు?
When we talk about, especially in recruiting or HR field, I think the average salaries for somebody to begin with is anywhere between 3 lakhs to 6 lakhs, depending on what kind of college you come, what kind of interns you have done, how polished you are. So 3 lakhs nunchi, and also depends on what the company's budget is, like whether you're going into a mid-sized company or a smaller size company. So my recommendation would always be for somebody who's starting their career to actually find a job in startups rather than looking at the big giants. So startup lo chese endante you'll get lot of dimensional exposure. It's not one piece of work or one direction of work that you will actually get to know.
They will get the experience in all the branches.
Exactly. So always choose, the startups will pay less because it is a startup, right? A giant might actually throw money, 6 lakhs 8 lakhs also valki, it will not make a huge difference. But what is that you'll become after 2 years? If it's accounting thing, accounts payable ki job ki వెళ్ళానంటే 3 years తర్వాత కూడా వాడు accounts payable చేస్తాడు. స్టార్ట్అప్ లో వెళ్తే accounts receivable వస్తుంది, కమిషన్స్ వస్తుంది, మీకు క్యాష్ పోస్టింగ్ వస్తుంది. సో బికాజ్ నేను కూడా బాగా చేస్తున్నాడు యాజ్ అ మేనేజ్మెంట్ CEO, I would want to make sure that I give him opportunity to learn more because he's showing me that promise. So that is the big advantage. So initially I think people, especially students, should start worrying about how much is my package. Yes, there are some basic necessities. I'm not telling anybody to go beyond not meeting their basic necessities. But again, there is difference between a greed and an ambition. So put your ambition first, and then you can think about your greed.
Okay. సో వివేక్, చాలామంది జాబ్లో జాయిన్ అయిన తర్వాత వెంటనే వితిన్ 3-4 మంత్స్లోనే ఫేక్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ పెట్టుకొని వేరే జాబ్స్కి వెళ్ళిపోతూ ఉంటారు. అండ్ ఇంకో కొంతమంది అయితే 15-20 ఇయర్స్ ఒకటే కంపెనీలో ఉంటారు. ఒకటే కంపెనీలో అలా ఇయర్స్ ఉన్నా మా స్కిల్స్ చేయట్లేదు, వాళ్ళు మమ్మల్ని గుర్తించట్లేదు అంటారు. సో ఇందులో ఏది కరెక్ట్? వీళ్ళు అసలు ఎలాంటి పాత్రలో వెళ్ళాలి?
యాక్చువల్గా దిస్ నథింగ్ రైట్ అండ్ రాంగ్ అండి ఇందులో. కాకపోతే దెర్ ఆర్ సర్టెన్ అంటే ఇట్స్ నాట్ అబౌట్ లాయల్టీ టు ద కంపెనీ, బీయింగ్ లాయల్ టు యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ ఫస్ట్. ఎందుకు లాయల్ టు యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ అంటే వెన్ యూ పిక్ అ జాబ్ యూ రియలీ వాంట్ టు గివ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ టైమ్. In 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you cannot say what you have learned or what you have not learned. Maybe it could be a mistake once, like I did not like this company, or I did not like the culture, I did not like the environment. Sometimes you have the right to kind of make your choice and move out of it. But simply moving out of for money is a very, very wrong thing to do. The reason why it is a wrong thing to do is you might get away today, 3 years varaku nobody will even care. You might be getting little money here and there, but after 3 years or 5 years, when they have aspirations to really become senior level guys and manager level guys, first thing what any company will look at is what is your track record, what is your trajectory. 5 years lo 7 companies panchesavu. So for you it is difficult to survive in a place. So I do not want to get into a headache of hiring you and then after 6 months I want to hire somebody. So where is the longevity? That is one big hit that they will get. They will not have takers. The big companies will not take, the startups would not take. They will find, these are the kind of people who will find it difficult to find a job. And the second problem is you might still be able to find a job, but you will not be able to grow. Because ikkada 2 నెలలు అక్కడ 2 నెలలు అక్కడ 2 నెలలు చేస్తే మీకు టీమ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఉండదు. టీమ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అంటే ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్, యూ వాంట్ యువర్ టీమ్ టు బి సక్సెస్ఫుల్, యూ విల్ బి 3 నెలల్లో వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు టీచ్ దెమ్, అండ్ హౌ డు యూ గేజ్ దట్ యూ హావ్ బీన్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్ ఆర్ నో. because you have never stood your ground. So our leadership management అనేది కూడా will completely be ruled out, right? So they will actually fall in a soup after 4-5 years. Until 4-5 years they're merry.
Okay.
Right? They're merry. They will survive. They will get a job, even 200%, 300% hikes kuda doruktayi. After that, I think they'll be very, very stagnant. They'll not have any takers. 9 out of 10 times. On the other side, people, being glue and loyal to a company, they are there because they're being taken care of well, right? They're getting paid, getting compensated in a right way. Yes, if they have aspirations to grow, they should always be showcasing some skills. So nobody's going to come and knock on your door and ask, do you want to get promoted as a manager? There's a seat empty. So as an employee, there should be a constant relationship building, showing that today నేను ఈ పని చేస్తున్నానంటే నాకు ఒక ఆస్పిరేషన్ ఉంది. ఆఫ్టర్ 2 years నేను కొత్తగా వచ్చిన వాళ్ళని ఐ విల్ హెల్ప్ దెమ్, ఐ విల్ గ్రూమ్ దెమ్, ఐ హ్యావ్ బీన్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్, I can show them how it is to be done. If these things are there softly done, right? And you nobody does this with the intention of, oh, my manager is saying he's going to pay me more for what I am doing. No, you're doing this for yourself, right? Because learning and teaching and sharing always enhances the individual, not just them.
You are saying they have to involve in the company work.
Exactly.
For themselves.
Exactly. కంపెనీ అంటే ఓవర్ టైం చేసే అవసరం లేదు. కాకపోతే ఇప్పుడు కొత్తగా ఎవరైనా వచ్చినారంటే HRs will do their job, managers will do the job, but how long? Managers not going to sit there for the whole day, right? For 20 minutes or 30 minutes. The rest of the day you're sitting with your peers. Peers, if you are a senior person, you call yourself, I've been in the company for 10 years. You are here for a reason that you're successful, right?
Show your seniority in the work.
show, guide them, be that elderly person. ఇప్పుడు కాలేజ్ లో అయినా కానీ మన సీనియర్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు స్టార్టింగ్ లో ర్యాగింగ్ చేస్తారు, అది చేస్తారు. కాకపోతే దే ఆర్ ద వన్స్ హూ యాక్చువల్లీ షేర్ ద బుక్, షేర్ ద నాలెడ్జ్, ఇది చదువుకో అది చదువుకో అని చెప్పేసి అంటారు. The corporate is also like that. When you do that, right, what happens is you get attention from the management. Nothing goes unnoticed in a corporate side. Tomorrow, that guy, hey, how did you learn this so quickly? And so and so has guided me. So that's where the notice comes in. And then we will believe that really this guy, let's put him a tag, let's elevate him, he will do good.
Thank you so much, Vivek.
You're
you
welcome.
shared a lot of knowledge and experience
My pleasure.
in the humanity resource.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. I really loved taking this interview.
సో చూసాం కదండి, ఈ HR రౌండ్ అనే దాంట్లో అసలు ఏ స్కిల్స్ ఉండాలి, కమ్యూనికేషన్ స్కిల్స్ ఉండాలా, టెక్నికల్ స్కిల్స్ ఉండాలా, అసలు ఒక స్టూడెంట్ ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలి, ఇవన్నీ చక్కగా వివరించారు ఈ వీడియోలో వివేక్. ఈ వీడియో మీకు నచ్చినట్లయితే కామెంట్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. స్టే ట్యూన్.